Hey everybody, welcome back to Roleplay Blades, episode 9. What's going on, everybody?
Oh, almost double digits, you guys.
Almost.
Dang, it's already been 9 episodes? Wow.
Yeah, double digits is when they take us seriously. I feel like.
That's right.
That's,
When we become real boys.
is it, yeah, and girl. Yeah.
It's like when a new TV show, they have, like, the first few episodes don't have the title sequence, and then they have, like, the 5th episode or whatever has, like, the legit title sequence, and you're like, okay, now that's when they started caring about this show. That's us now.
We're there.
They didn't have enough footage for the montage that's at the beginning.
Right.
They had to film
That
3
shot.
episodes.
Yeah.
I think we have enough material now of you guys looking badass and
Yeah.
killing people and using mind powers and everything. Yeah.
And not getting cookies, unfortunately.
Oh, it's so
Just
close.
denied the cookies.
You know,
Close to
Just like an immediate
Still
retirement.
upset about that.
Like, yep, door closes, and that's great. We'll do character creation Monday. But yeah, you don't come out. You're done.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm
Everyone have
doing
a good
well.
weekend.
Yeah, I went and saw Split on Friday.
What's that?
In my Shyamalan movie.
Shyamalan.
It's pretty good, but so I'll just say this: it's a pretty good movie. I think he's reeled it in, and there's not going to be any more Lady in the Waters, so you can expect a pretty decent movie experience. But I do want to say my mini rant that's like so applicable right now. I get really excited about movies, as I'm sure you guys know, but like so many movie previews have no fucking problem at all spoiling an absolutely massive plot device in the movie. Like absolutely massive.
Yeah.
This
It's
movie is
shameless.
It sucks.
and I'll just come out and say it because so you cover your ears if you're like, I don't watch TV for that very reason. Oh no, like I'm about to say it, but in all the previews, they all build up this idea of like the beast, and this is this really scary thing. The whole movie's about that. The whole movie's about whether or not that's real or if this personality exists in there, and the preview shows it happening. So the whole time that suspense is completely gone. It's still interesting and it's still a good movie and it's very well acted. But I think I feel like that should slide across M. Night Shyamalan's desk or someone, and they should be like, well, no. What do you mean? No. Can you imagine a preview for like The Usual Suspects, and in the end it shows him fucking walking normal at the end, and he's like, yeah, that was him the whole time.
Oh, right. It's this one with James McAvoy.
Wow.
Oh,
Jeff,
I don't feel bad, Marcus. If there's
I
someone
might
that's like I've
actually,
saved The Usual
you know.
Suspects, I got a 20-year
with
deadline,
you,
buddy.
dude.
That's it.
Is that the statute of limitations on this one?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's
someone's
been
like,
fully
"Yeah."
determined yet, but
I don't feel bad even a little bit. Not a little bit.
In the world,
Nah, it's 6 years tops.
I was an hour into that movie. I was gonna finish it tonight.
Still don't feel
They
bad.
just put it on Netflix. What
Still
the?
Nah,
Sorry.
6 years tops. Then you can spoil whatever, because if you were gonna see it, if you really wanted to see it, you would have seen it. By
Yeah.
6 years.
I don't know.
No, I mean,
with the exception being if somebody's like actively doing it, like because I started playing Mass Effect.
yes, of course.
Yeah, and so like the number of people coming in and like trying to spoil Mass Effect for me when I'm like, I'm actively playing it right now.
Yeah.
Like if it
that-
happens in random conversation,
Yeah.
cool. But
Did anyone happen to see the clip that they made up of footage that they used in the Rogue One trailer that was not in the movie?
Yeah.
no.
See that?
I heard
Because
about
you know what? That's
There's a
a
really-
pretty fucking good way to like go about it if you can. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm like not the one being marketed to, because I didn't need to see that trailer to know that I want to, go see that movie, right? But when I saw the amount of footage that was not in the movie that was in the trailer, like that's kind of fucking badass. Whether that was from a result of the reshoots or not, hats off.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Trimmed it down a little, but probably in a good way. Except for that, there's one shot in the trailer that I think would have been totally badass in the
Is it
movie.
the TIE Fighter shot?
TIE Fighter.
Dude,
Yeah.
the one where it like comes up
Cool.
when oh fuck, I guess.
It's such a good moment, and
Yeah.
somebody was speculating that maybe that was the pilot character, Riz's character. which would have also been a pretty sweet little moment for that character, I think.
Oh, right.
But yeah, man, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Rogue One, but man, that shot, I really wish it had been in the film.
But Jeff, you are like so right. It is bullshit how bad some of those things are. In fact, I mean, like, I will just blatantly talk about one that exists right now, and that is Ghost in the Shell. Like, straight up, the final fucking scene of that whole thing is like, bam, right there in the trailer. Like, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because that's how this motherfucker ends. I can't even believe it. It's crazy.
Terrible.
Crazy.
It's really weird to me.
So I was just trying to avoid watching trailers for anything.
Yeah, you have to.
I don't even go to the theater anymore, really. Not because of that, really, but that is part of it. You're kind of trapped there. I want to just like shut my eyes and plug my ears during the
because they play like 8 trailers before the movie starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I used to love trailers. Like, a very well-cut trailer is a great thing. But yeah, now you're like, what are they going to do? Are they going to
You know what's a funny one? Probably the worst example, but it's of a movie I don't care about anyways. But the trailer for Sing, the animated movie, literally all 4 minutes of the trailer is 2 minutes of introducing the problem for each character, and then the last half is 2 minutes of showing the resolution of each problem in the trailer. And I'm like, you know what's so bad about this though? It's not even them that's stupid. It's kind of, and not to get too deep here, because obviously we have a show to do, but like, it's kind of a reflection of society and people that is what a successful trailer is these days. Is it's like really fucking ham-fisted of like, here's what happens, and people are like, well, I don't understand, and they're like, then here's how it's solved, and you're like, okay, well, let's go check that out. That looks really nice. It looks heartwarming in the end.
Well, exactly, and that's what I've heard the reaction. I've heard people in the theater talking in the theater on top of everything else, but I've heard people say that where they're not sure, and then the trailer has the payoff, and they go, oh, that looks nice. I like happy endings, and that makes them want to see it.
It's a selling point.
Really
crazy.
Not to like go too far off on a tangent. However, I mean, it's at least movie related. In that regard, what do you guys think about A Dog's Purpose and all the drama that's going on with that? Are you guys familiar with what's going on?
I haven't heard the drama. I saw the trailer.
The movie called A Dog's Purpose. I haven't heard the drama.
So you've seen the trailer. All right. Well, it's really interesting because it's like, hey, newsflash, fucking animals don't do what you tell them to do. And like, the harsh reality is if you're watching an animal movie, that animal probably went through a lot of terrible shit in order to make that movie. A clip got released from the set of this movie in which a German Shepherd, who was like very reluctant to do a water stunt, was sort of coerced and or forced into the water. Wow. And, there's been claims that like, later on, the dog was fine doing it. It was that moment, it's like the footage is kind of taken out of context of the whole situation. But regardless, it's opened up a lot of exposure to like that concept where people, even like PETA is obviously in protest of this, but people are like, hey, I totally understand why you're angry. Like, this happens a lot, people, it's just very interesting to see all the various perspectives on it. A lot of people that are like, I won't see this movie, boycott the movie, but this doesn't happen very often in Hollywood.
I was trying to find it, but there was like, I remembered reading there was an actor who was supposed to be in that movie who like pulled out of doing that movie for like some of the way that they were treating the animals, but I can't find it now. I'm trying to figure out who it was.
Well, the narrator of the movie, who is I forget his name. He's in a lot of comedies, but he issued a statement where he was like, "Yo, this is like I'm deeply saddened by all this. This is crazy. I didn't know about all this stuff, and I don't know."
You know what's tough about that though, like. That kind of a thing, that specific story could sink that specific movie. So anything that comes out of that studio in response to that, how do you trust it? How are they like, no, it's perfectly fine and good. I don't think these animals are being like whipped and tortured out there.
No,
but
of course
the way you
not.
handle animals is really, it's very rough. Like animal handler people, if anyone's ever encountered them, they don't like they're not like stroking a dog like, now listen, Scruffy Wuffins, you're gonna go over there and you're gonna do that and it's gonna be wonderful. And the dog's like, no, and they're like, Scruffy Wuffins. They don't do that. They're really gruff with dogs, and there's a lot of people out there that I think aren't exposed to that or see that. And it is a fine line between how to control an animal and you're actually abusing an animal. And that's why professionals are the ones that should be left to do that. But a clip like that, if it comes out that this heartwarming movie about how dogs might go to heaven and shit like that is actually animal brutality, it sinks and everyone involved loses everything. So of course their story is like,
even if it isn't true, the news cycle idea now is just one pass is all you get. No one ever follows up again, or once one story is out there, everyone knows after that. So like once the facts come in, it doesn't matter anymore because the public has already decided like, oh yeah, that's that movie that had the cruel dog cruelty. And
right.
It doesn't matter what happens now. Like you only get one shot at the news cycle and that's it. You're just stuck with whatever.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It makes me curious like how they actually film. I'm trying to think of other scenes with like animals in it because when I saw the clip with the dog from that and it's like the dog at one point just goes completely under the water and like isn't swimming. Like that's not good. Like, so I wonder how they do, because obviously they use animals and and stuff, and they always have at the end of the thing like no animals were harmed in the making of this film or whatever. So I wonder like if it was just a case of them not following the proper procedure.
Honestly, I think that is there because there is a legal ramification for it not being, it's one of those weird things.
I mean, have you seen the one where they're like animals were absolutely harmed in the filming of this movie? Have you ever seen
I've seen that before. I forget where that's from.
Wait, you have?
No, I've seen it as like a joke, but I forget where I saw that. No, it wasn't like a serious. It was like, I forget what it was.
Cannibal Holocaust, by the way, actually has animals getting hurt and killed in the movie. That's why it's banned in a lot of countries.
Yeah. It's Snake and Eagle Shadow, that Jackie Chan movie where the cobra fights the cat, where they just like had them fight for real.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think they deviate the cobra, but otherwise they just fight. It's nuts.
Oh jeez.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's so weird. And
Wow.
have you guys seen that movie Roar? It's like a 70s movie where they shot with like pseudo wild lions. And like 70 different people got injured on the movie, and
70.
What?
Like
at some point, 61. Like, sir, I have some concerns. Our 61st injury on set. I keep resetting the sign over here that says injuries on set to 0, and the counter next to it, which is number of injuries, keeps increasing. Keep shooting. They're giving us more money. Get more handlers.
Well, I like the idea.
I don't know how I'm supposed to do the clapper for the scene anymore.
I like the idea of being like, at some point you have to again be like, you're a fucking idiot, because when lions injure 43 people and you're the 44th that they go to, and they're like, look, we have to be honest. There was a lot of people that have been hurt by these lions, and you're like, you know what? What's the pay? And they're like, well, it's good. It's $8.50 an hour here, and you're like, absolutely.
You know what?
Honestly, we shouldn't think the lion's gonna just keep mauling people. It should simmer down by now.
I think I've found maybe my life's purpose is that maybe I need to make the movie about the story of this movie being made and have 0 people get injured, and then I have sort of deemed the movie Roar and all the fucking stupidity that ran rampant because we'd CG all the characters. Ha ha.
Roar
Fuck
2,
you,
Marcus.
the 70s.
That's what's bad now, man. Roar 2.
What?
Pixar.
Roar 2, the story of Roar.
I'm just wondering, like, why they have to put animals in movies anymore at all, because I don't remember the last time I actually enjoyed a movie where an animal was kind of either star or co-star of it. Like, do you see Marley?
Like animated, yeah.
Biggest piece of shit in the entire universe.
You know, it's one of the only
I never
good
saw
ones.
it.
Is The Fall. That was actually pretty intense.
Yeah, I like The Fall too.
The Fall.
That's a really interesting movie. Lee Pace, he It's like narrating the meta story. Man, that movie's cool.
Oh, what about what was the Liam Neeson one with the wolves?
Yeah,
The Gray. Yeah. That was, I mean, you could kind of consider them like one of the main characters.
That movie is to this day one of my biggest failings to Anna ever, because I was like, Liam Neeson, fantastic actor, and it's about being wild, surviving. It should be a great film. What it ends up being about is people getting mauled to fuck by stalking wolves, and that is not what Anna typically would go see unless coerced by someone who thought it would be an okay movie. So we're at that.
I love that movie.
Right, and they did like the full Hollywood acting. So I'm sitting there because I can see the scene coming, and I'm not worried about the scene. I'm worried about my wife's reaction. So I'm sitting there, and you hear like, oh god! And I can hear Anna's like eyes glassing over, and her body and demeanor's like hunching over, just drowning in their own blood.
Oh.
Yeah, that's bad.
I learned my lesson that I would never do that to my wife because I did it very badly to a girlfriend in high school. Yes. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story on Swan Song before, but I convinced this gal, Amy, that I was dating that we should totally go see In the Mouth of Madness. Because I was like, how much of a horror movie could this actually be, right? And she hates horror movies. So I'm like, it's more of a thriller. It's like more of a psychological thriller. Dude, In the Mouth of Madness for its time was fucking freaky. And it like damaged her in a major way. And I'm like, I've learned my lesson. And I paid dearly for that. That's rough. That's rough go right there.
What's the Get Off My Lawn Clint Eastwood one?
Gran Torino.
Gran Torino.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That
I was going to say Gran Turismo.
Yeah, no. There's like a 3-punch moment in my life so far where now when I'm like, Anna, you should come see this with me, I like research the fuck out of it, because that was another one where
because of the racism?
winning awards. Oh, it's like so dark about the race.
Yeah.
It's so incredibly dark. The rest of it's an amazing movie, and I'm okay with that stuff, but Anna in particular is very sensitive to it, and she would never go near that except that I was like, oh, it's probably fine. Ugh.
Oops. Put that one down in the oops book.
Yeah, that was
Mistake made, learn from it.
Yeah. Did you guys see? I didn't see it. The like CGI animal remake Jungle Book live action thing.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Said animals in that were really well done. Like very believable. Yeah. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I think some are better than others, but yeah, I mean, in all honesty, let's be real here. Disney has a pretty great track record of making all animals look real, because even from things that walk on all fours, like you look at Lion King, which is traditional animation, and like the study they did in the research to kind of like nail that animation, it wasn't like rotoscoping at all. It was, let's learn what a gorilla actually looked, and they fucking killed it. But even something like
the gorilla,
Robin Hood, even something like
they learned
Robin
what it
Hood,
looked like, and then they killed it.
which is the same character, like animal characters, but they are more human-like, but still have many of the traits of it. They've always been good at that.
And, I mean, what more could you ask? You get
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray as
Christopher Walken,
and Christopher Walken as King Louie.
Yeah.
Actually sings. He does a fucking awesome job singing my favorite Jungle Book song.
One of the best like numbers and scenes of the movie for sure.
Yeah.
I got to see that. I think it's on Netflix now. I think I saw it the other day.
And then Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
As
I'm so sick of everybody loving Idris Elba. Everybody's just like, he is the best at everything.
Get ready to throw up because he's amazing and I fucking love him.
Why don't you like him, Zeke? That's the question.
That's right.
He's done
He's
some
incredible.
legit shit.
The Wire, everybody. Come
Luther?
on.
The Wire,
The Wire?
right? You can stop right there, John Harper.
Yeah.
Bam.
See, and that's where we part ways. That's where I part ways from a lot of people, because I like The Wire, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
People were like, best series ever compares to name a series, and I'm like, not even close to
Did
any
you
of
watch
it.
it all?
I watched the whole thing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What? So to give us a watermark then here, what would be your favorite show, Zeke? Like, what's some of your favorite shows? Would you say?
Well, I mean, they're not.
Somebody through the teenage witch.
They're
Not
super
watermark, by the way. It's
surprising,
completely not the word.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks. Fucking Sopranos.
Yeah.
Nothing super
Oz?
surprising. I loved Oz. I liked
I
Oz
loved
more
Oz.
than
I loved Oz.
Wire.
Yeah.
I think that Breaking Bad is, I mean, it's a matter of taste, of course, but like for television craftsmanship, you kind of can't beat Breaking Bad, right? In terms of cinema as in the form of television, it's probably the best thing ever created in that form, I would say.
And to have the wisdom to end it when they did too, because it was still awesome. But they knew that if they did another season of everyone whining and going crazy about how tough it is,
they told a complete story. They didn't just keep on making a TV show.
Yeah.
But I feel like The Wire, like, it is off to the side in that ranking in some sense. It's like the Great American Novel to me, as opposed to like a work of television cinema. You know, it's like this great piece of fiction about the American story, but like cinematically, it's not that interesting. But it's just, man, I don't know. It's almost it's like very close.
Did you watch Shield? The Shield?
Oh man, love The Shield.
I did. I like it.
We're talking about the cop one, not Marvel. Yeah,
The Shield.
That is like one of my like that stands up with Breaking Bad. That show is fucking incredible.
And it also tells a complete story, like the way that it wraps up, and man, it's so
while still having like an era of episodic sort of content as well. They had like a great balance, and actually, it's Sean, right? Sean Murphy did that show. Who all of his other shows are like exactly the same, which is like Glee, which is crazy.
And
the FX show that I watched all 100 episodes of that. Like I was blown away at how good that was. What was the fucking plastic Nip Tuck? Yeah, that one kind of blew my mind a little bit.
He also worked on Terriers, which is an amazing show that got canceled. It's only one season, but it's great.
Dude, okay, so someone in chat, Nameless Ted. This is one of my favorite rants that I've never been able to go into, and I want to dedicate like an hour of my life, which we obviously don't have, so I'll be quick about it. But Jesus Christ, one of the funniest shows that had the most. There's a very typical TV show pitfall, and you like break your ankle on a lot of shows. That's where it like starts to happen. They broke their ankle, fractured the bone, ripped the bone out, started gouging their throat out, and then like gouged their eyes out with the bone, and then just died in the pit. Is the Fringe? Have you ever watched that show?
Yeah, Fringe.
First season, fascinating, interesting characters, very, very X-Files. Like, oh my god, I'm in love. Season 2, okay. Season 3, it literally becomes a show about relationships and time travel and the complications therein. And when I say relationships, I mean love story relationships, where at one point, and this was the final episode for me, guys, I actually stopped it. You could be like, wow, it got really incredible after that. At one point, the chick has an alternate dimensional form of herself make out with one of the main guys, and then the next 3 episodes are them struggling with how they feel about him cheating on her with her from a different time. And I remember I stood up and I was like, I felt like
what?
It was like you're in a maze for like years, and you get to the end of the person. It's like, there's no purpose to this, and you're like, oh shit. Then what did I do with all that time? And they're like, I don't know. It's gone now. Goodbye. And they like float away.
What?
It was the stupidest fucking realization I've ever had in my entire fucking life.
Yeah.
Don't watch the
bad.
Watch season 1.
Past season 1 for pretty much all his shows. You probably shouldn't watch. Season 1 of Alias is fine. Season 1 of Lost, fine. Season 1 of Fringe, fine. Just
you don't like Alias?
No, I love Alias, but man, the end it gets so bad.
It's one of those shows that they just drag out, and you're like, you should have stopped a long time ago. That's like Grey's Anatomy. I kind of like hate watch that show at this point, because the first like 5 seasons or whatever are like interesting and fine for like, it's like kind of a like well-produced soap, but they're like 20 seasons in, and I'm like, what more horrible shit can you have happen to these poor people at this one hospital? Like, there's been a bomb, there's been a shooter, there's been like a plane crash, this person lost her leg, this guy died, this other person died, that person died, and it's just like this, like, what is going on in this like poor hellhole of a place? But it's like it should have ended a long time ago, but I still watch it because
I'm gonna piss somebody off, but
hate my time, I guess.
A show that I can never. I watched one season of it, and I won't watch anymore ever again. And people are gonna be like, "You're missing out. It's a great show," but conceptually, I'll never get past how stupid it is. Prison Break. Shut the fuck up. You can't break out of a prison 9 times in a row and make a show about breaking out of a prison 9 fucking times in a row, alternating between the brothers and who gets who's getting out.
I do not disagree, and the biggest mistake that show made was it going beyond season 2, because honestly, they had a hook, which is like, wait, you said he tattooed himself so he could get out of like.
Right.
All right. There's some cleverness
cool.
to this, but the moment that it was beyond like that, like I wish that more folks would actually like develop television in that regard. Like, I want to give you this miniseries. I want to give you this one season, very, very nice story that you're going to always go back to and be like, yeah, you can just watch this one season.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. But like, unfortunately, the money grubby networks are like, Lost. We realize that you only wanted to take 4 seasons to tell your story, but fuck you, give us 7, right? It's just
It's true. Yeah.
That show was instantly ridiculous right after the cliffhanger of season 1.
I think it's cool because it almost fell into the same trap, but I think it's really brilliant that they took an amazing action show like 24. And then 3 seasons later, changed it into a comedy. I thought that was really smart to keep it going. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, that would have sucked. That would have been really stupid.
Yeah, of course.
You guys are great when I make really subtle jokes like that.
I
didn't watch it, so I had no idea what to say to you.
That's cool.
But you know what,
Thanks,
Jeff?
guys.
Here's why I'm laughing on the inside, because it actually was a comedy, because there is a moment in, I believe it's actually season 4, in which an EMP goes off, and like Jack Bauer doesn't really stop the EMP, but he like puts his back up against it, and he really tries. And I'm like, oh, Jack, like one of these days you'll stop the EMP from going on. And it is kind of a comedy in that regard. But I love that.
The plots, the day 24-hour plots are comedies, but they're delivered in a very dramatic way. Yeah, I think Kiefer saves that show. He's awesome
great
on it, and the stories are retarded. But he does such a good job that it's
same fucking new form. Now the terrorists aren't even. Guess what? The terrorists, they're not even ethnic people this time. They're white people. Yeah, that's the spin this season. It's all white people.
I'm watching.
And it's like, God damn, like, and Jack Bauer is like falling further and further down the like decrepit tree of like.
I'm wanted by the Chinese and the Americans.
This shit's so bad. Like, well, we need you to save the world again. He's like, all right, fuck it. Give me my cocaine. Like, I'll do it.
Chloe, we got another problem. It's great and bad at the same time. Yep.
All right.
Also, everyone should watch The Americans. It's coming back soon.
Americans.
So good. Amazing. Great show. But I think we're out of time for our television love fest. We could go on and on and on.
Yes, we could.
You guys have to tune in to Wheat and Jeff's show for more media discussions like this.
Might do that for some extended periods of time.
Coming soon.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, let's murder people before I start talking about how dumb the 100 is.
You mean, and by dumb you mean awesomely dumb, right? And
awesomely dumb. No, mostly just dumb.
Oh.
So much. I love it so much. But it is dumb.
That's how I felt about True Blood. True Blood was a stupid show, but I enjoyed watching it while I did.
Yeah. But this is not a stupid show. Our show is cool. And
That's they meant 100. Yeah.
We have cool characters and everything on our show. Our show's the best.
Most of them.
So, should we do a quick recap of?
Yeah, I need a
Definitely.
refresher. We were like in the middle of a thing, so.
Yeah.
All I remember is getting my hand slapped last week. So, like a child, I'm like, oh, like I remember when I got punished, but what else do we do?
Yeah.
What else?
No one punished you. You felt
What?
the weight of your guilt, and you told everybody. Good
That's
for
true.
you. I'm proud of you.
I'm
What
glad
I
you
remember
can see into
is-
the mind of my character, Zeke. Maybe.
You secretly skimmed from the winnings, but then in this very little subtle move and like did the math for the split for the rest of it. So everyone ended up getting the same amount anyway, because there was like this exact amount left, so that everyone did get a fair share after all, even after you took an extra cut.
That didn't happen.
It was really subtle. I liked it a lot.
Oh, it was not subtle at all. John Harper,
one
have you
said
ever been
anything. I wondered if
slapped
anyone
in the face
noticed.
before, like open palm, just straight up, not expecting it? It was a little like that.
Maybe Miss
That was
Cadby
money.
Miss Cadby feels those things more deeply than most people do. Maybe.
Goes around, comes around.
But I mean, we have to acknowledge that Cadby was a bit of a superstar again, and found some dirt on Grace the Extortionist, which Aldo has floated to the group as not necessarily as a target per se, but as a problem to be solved. And one of the most important things from last week was Cadby kind of consorting around with her underworld contacts and discovering that Jaren, the Blue Coat archive guy who keeps track of old case files and evidence and that kind of stuff. Grace has been trying to get him as a partner or something for years, so she could have some access to the archives to extort people with, basically. So that was one of the last things we did, was Cadby discovering that she could basically arrange a meeting with Grace whenever she wants, by dropping Jaren's name or having him set up a meeting or whatever. And just to catch people up who maybe didn't see it, Grace the Extortionist is someone who has some leverage over Aldo. Aldo wants to get out from under that, so that's kind of why we're Zeke's character, Aldo. That's why the group has been kind of sent in that direction or pushed in that direction. But the other thing that happened was Careless went to murder some guys and then didn't, which
That
was
was weird.
pretty yeah. It was weird. It was notable. It's the first time that's ever happened, as far as we know.
And it affected me so much that I earned a point in the tune.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. All those getting weird.
Yeah, it got inside of me and infected me.
Mm-hmm.
I think this guy's also trying to drop too.
So yeah, you guys kind of discovered that there's this gang, the Eels, which seems to be composed of like teenagers, yeah, who don't really know what they're doing. But one of them, their whisper said that like he got a message from the goddess or something, and that's kind of what kept Careless from murdering them. I think that was the main motivation.
Well, I mean, and they're an asset. Like they can be used.
Yes, they
There's some value
basically
to that.
offered their services, no questions asked. I think the deal was you were like, okay, just hold up, like we'll let you know when we want you to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But they were willing to kind of take their own initiative and maybe bring you something on their own that you might deem worthy. So that's sort of where we left it, I think. And then Rune, high on her new tattoo drugs, convinced the group to go visit the Dimmer sisters and say hi. The legendary boogeyman of the city who children sing rhymes about. I think some people on the community forum wrote some lyrics for the rest of the children's rhyme. That was pretty cool.
Nice.
So yeah, we had a nice meeting with a kindly old grandma who was baking cookies and wasn't creepy at all and seemed super nice.
She was wonderful.
But because of that kind of risk, like knocking on the Dimmer sisters' door, hello, how you doing? And then nailing your rolls, you guys earned a +1 status with them, so they actually are kind
Sweet.
of interested in you as a potential friend in the future. So we'll see what comes of that. And I think that basically covers it. There was downtime actions and healing, and Aldo stealing musical instruments and stuff like that. I think the thrust of it was kind of setting up this idea of
I forgot about that. Yeah.
dealing with Grace in some way.
Cool.
So maybe that's a good place to start. Sort of right after, I think the very last thing we did was Wheat said that he like got the group together and told you guys like, hey, I have this contact who can reach out to her. We can arrange a meet however we want. And we were sort of poised to take the next steps from there.
I thought we were even doing our what's it called, the roll to get it initiated.
Engagement?
Yeah,
Engagement roll, yeah.
we totally
Yeah.
can. Yep, we can jump right in and do that.
Marcus, I think you do the honors, my friend.
So what do I roll here?
So you are going to be rolling the engagement roll. And I close my window. My bad, GM.
Okay.
Let me open it again so I have the rules.
Yeah,
in
I
front
just
of
had to reopen.
I believe it's just fortune, right? You just roll fortune.
me. It is. Yep, it's a fortune roll. You can click your fortune roll button in your on your character sheet.
And I'm just double checking. Yeah, I don't have anything that does that. Okay. Y'all ready for this?
So-
All right. It's got notes.
Yeah, you can just put engagement roll. And then I'm going to tell you how many dice as soon as I get my file open.
Okay. Number of dice.
Come on.
Well,
come on.
it goes
Here we-
up to 6. That's the max.
It's basically the max.
Go ahead.
Start there.
You want to just start there? Yeah, that makes
No.
sense. So you start with 1 die for sheer luck because you're scoundrels and sometimes you get lucky.
Okay.
Um,
And 5 die because we're awesome. Got it.
And so let's just paint the picture here. So the type of plan here is kind of like a social plan, right? You're arranging a social meeting with Grace using
Yeah, because if I recall, like, I still met her at a bar, so we don't exactly know. So there was like 2 parts, right? We wanted to get to her, but we need access to the book, right?
Yeah, you don't have any idea where the book is.
Right.
Yep.
So-
And if something happens to her, not only the book, but a whole bunch of shit will happen.
Yeah, there's
Right.
like she has the whole dead man switch thing going on with lots of different people and lots of different groups who are heavily invested in her that stuff not happening. So she is someone that you guys could potentially kill or something, but you'll be tangling with a lot of other parties that are going to not want that to happen. So
Well, I would like to pose to the group, maybe not now, but maybe later when we have her, how best to go about getting this information out of her, whether it be torture or coercion or like
I think
promises.
that's what needs to be discussed before we set the meeting, right? Because the meeting is just to get access to
Yeah.
her.
exactly. So is it like, are you there to kidnap her or are you
What
there
now?
to like talk to her? Essentially, like that's going to change the nature of the engagement, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
sort of yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I would almost say what would be kind of fun is if it's not successful. Well, I don't know. We can do it that way. But I think one of the things that we discussed that kind of makes the most sense strategically was we were like, okay, look, we're going to offer her a job free of charge in exchange for that book. And if that doesn't seem to be plausible, then we are just going to grind it out of her soul, basically, with torture and whatnot.
Well, I'm sorry. What was the first part?
Offer her like a free hit,
Oh, okay.
for that.
Give her the carrot, and if she refuses, then give her the stick.
Yep.
One stipulation. We have first right of refusal to the target.
Ah.
Well, I think that's just secretly. We're in characters, but it's just like, yes, Miss Cataby, absolutely. I think the ace up our sleeve, so to speak, is that if we don't want to do the target, we just revert back to punishing her body.
Sure. Great. Just want you to know that it's very likely she could pick, say, someone like Solia, who is kind of important to what we do. So just want to make sure it doesn't, blow up in our faces.
Of course.
Do we know what'll happen if we detain her? When will the information that she has on everyone be released? Is it upon her death, or is it, if she doesn't check in somewhere every day?
Well, I would imagine that it's probably a little bit of both. Like, if she's gone for a few days, I'm sure people might assume that she's dead and then release the information. So what I suggest is that we get her. Like we said, we offer her the carrot. And if she takes the carrot, which I think she will, because she's smart, she's not willing to, I don't think she wants to go through torture. And she knows me a little bit, so it's not outside of the realm of possibilities that I would do that. So we do have to keep her until we get the book, though, because this is the problem I've been having with her for a while now, is that she keeps promising me the book, but she never gives it. It's always one more job, one more job, one more job, and then you can have it. And she's lied every time. So get the book, release her, do the job. We're professionals. Done deal.
Then just to clarify, Aldo, it's not super important to you that she dies?
No. In fact, I would prefer it if she didn't die before I got my book, because it might be destroyed. And that would be bad.
After you get the book?
Well, then, I don't care, honestly. In fact, I'll even help you if you want, if that's what we think we should do as a group.
I'm just wondering, there's no revenge story here. The book is the most important, but whether she lives or dies, that's secondary by a large margin to getting the book, right?
Yes. And the reason why that is because I understand why she does what she does. She can't go around intimidating folks like I can. She's just trying to make a living, and she does a very good job of it. So I can't hold that against her. But it's come to the point where the straw is starting to break the camel's back.
Okay, I understand.
Can't argue with any of it.
All right. So what's the plan then, Miss Caterpie?
Well, I think you kind of laid it out. The most important thing is that whatever we do, we have to do quick. You have to understand that the people who'll notice her missing are actually the people we do not want after us. So whatever the plan is, it has to be swift.
Right. What's as soon as you could set up this blue coat with the meeting?
I think it's just maybe at least a day.
That's fine. It should be a fairly simple job. She doesn't go anywhere with a lot of bodyguards, as far as I know.
Well, she's, let's say, silently protected, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I do.
Well, even or whether we sort of take her or just talk to her, and we need to make sure that it's still discreet. So choose a clever place. And maybe even we don't get to dictate that.
Well, I have some friends. Hold on. In the Lost, and I'm sure they have a quiet place or two that we could find to persuade her. I'll do that. You set up the meeting, and tomorrow, Bob's your uncle.
Well, so you mean you'll provide a venue?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You're not saying a venue for the meeting. You're saying a venue for to take her after she's been kidnapped. Is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
If
okay.
we have to kidnap her, we might not have to.
True.
Great.
Yeah,
so,
Are we
do
going to try?
Oh, sorry.
we
Go
gonna-
ahead.
Are we going to try and persuade her there? I think we grab her nonetheless. We don't try and persuade her there. We grab her nonetheless. Take her to. Then once she's in the place that we have set up, then we say,
Yeah, I
sorry
think this-
about all that mess.
No, it's okay. I think the outstanding question is, because Cataby found this great lever, do you want to, and Jaren basically said, like, this is the thing that she wants the most, is for me to be, her partner. So do you want to use that, her greed and her interest, to lure her to a place she might not normally go, so that, you can snatch her up and take her and talk to her? Or do you want to meet her somewhere that she would, not be very suspicious of, just to have a chat, and then if that goes south, then you're going to grab her? I guess that is it like a kidnapping and then a conversation, or is it are you leading with a nice social meeting at that? I think that's what we need to know.
I'm thinking kidnap immediately, and then we persuade.
Right. Have that guy be like, meet me here. And then we're like all at that place that she is, going to. And then we're just like, okay, so here's the deal. We need the book. Right.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right.
So are you putting forward, Zeke, that you want to talk to the Lost and, see if they'll loan you a meat locker or something somewhere where you can,
Yes.
a butcher shop or something?
Yeah. Yep.
That'll be closed for the day, so you can execute your operation.
Exactly.
Cool. That sounds like a thing that they can do.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm friends with him.
Good idea. Yeah. So for people who don't know, the Lost are they're like ex gang members and soldiers that are sort of a vigilante group, kind of. They're like
Punisher.
yeah, about as nice as Punisher.
Only a group of Punishers, which sounds
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah. Here's your
I
pillowcase.
believe
You got to bring your own doorknobs.
I believe the plural is punishai.
Yeah. So they're not good guys. We wouldn't think of them that way. But they do, like, supposedly kind of like try to protect the downtrodden and stuff like that.
Like
I
Sons
think-
of Anarchy.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sort of like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Lost. The Lost
I
is
like them.
a gang on that show, isn't it? Aren't they? I think they are.
Are they? Oh, maybe.
I think so. Maybe that's where I got the name. I don't know. But so that means, like, they're kind of friends to the laborer class of the city. So Aldo knows that they would have access to, like, a closed down workshop or something like that.
Shipping container.
Yeah, exactly. Probably down south from where you guys are. There's an area called Coleridge, which is like lots of workhouses and machine shops, and there's lots of machinery operating all the time, grinding, and it's sort of like that street in Peaky Blinders where there's always the sparks flying out of the garage. So that's a good place too. Like no one will hear you in there. You can kind of blend in. So cool. So this will affect the engagement roll here. So you get 1 die to start there, Wheat.
Okay.
Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Snatching up.
I mean, I would argue that a secrets holder in general, like, again, she's low profile, but the people who deal with her are high profile. So in that regard, I would say that this is still very bold, because to mess with her means that we're potentially opening, right? This could go south. We could be attached to it, and then that means her best friends are our enemies. So
Yeah. All right. So
bold.
that's +1 die. You're up to 2.
Okay.
Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so, because of the lure you have. You don't have to like spin her some complicated tale to get her to come to this warehouse. You're like, Jaren wants to meet with you now, and you know that that's like the thing she
Right.
wants. So that works. Does the plan's detail expose their vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Yes, it certainly does. This is her vulnerability. She wants this guy real bad. So that's +1 die. You're up to 3. And then the opposite, it doesn't apply. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid? Yes, the lost, in fact.
Yeah.
But also the lady that set up the meeting.
Salia?
The contact. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So that's +1 die for that. Are any of your enemies or rivals interfering in the operation?
No,
Well, I don't know if we can answer that.
they are not. I
As
can
far
answer it.
as we know, no. But maybe.
Well,
No, this is like it's pretty secret, the meeting and everything. So.
It is pretty secret. However, in general, currently the blue coats are your enemies. She has significant blue coat contacts who look out for her.
Okay.
And your leverage is a blue coat who may not have perfect secrecy. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
Does that mean we get a die?
It means you get -1. Yeah.
So we're at 3.
So you're 3.
Okay.
Are there any other elements we need to consider? Lower tier, higher tier? Not with her, really. I mean, technically she's higher tier, but what you're doing doesn't affect that there. Nothing going on in the city, I don't think.
Yeah, it's there's
I
peace rallies everywhere, so no one's on high alert at all.
That's right. Lots of
It's also like
No
ghosts
marches.
flying around.
There's none
Oh.
going on here. People are quite happy with their leader. Well, most of them.
The immortal emperor will reign forever. Okay, I think that's it. So you have 3 dice to roll.
All right, let's do it. Let's not waste any time. Let's submit that shit. Boom. Is that good?
6.
Okay, we just needed the 1. I wasn't sure if we need. All right.
Still on fire. Nicely done. That's a good result. It means you're in a control position when the action starts. So,
Hooray.
yeah, very
Good
good.
job.
Yeah. I'll paint the picture, and then I think we will be ready for our first break, and then we can talk to Grace.
Sweet.
So, Coleridge. Coleridge is part of the city where the heavy-duty train lines that go past through Gaddock Station, cargo train lines and stuff. They go across the bridge into Coleridge, drop off, raw materials from around the Empire. Duskwall has a huge kind of manufacturing base where they make a lot of stuff that then gets disseminated back out into the Empire. And Coleridge is one of the main places where that all goes down. There's just tons and tons of huge warehouses and heavy machinery operating day and night, workhouses with indentured servants, essentially, who sort of sell themselves to the company for certain amounts of time. Really horrible contract, cruel taskmasters and overseers, kind of that Dickensian, awful kind of smog-covered, clanking brick building area. So when you guys get there, you're able to meet up with one of your contacts from the Lost. Let me get their name here. Cortland is his name. He's actually the leader of the group, but they don't really have much of a leader. He's a Skovlander. Although you've dealt with him before. He's older. He used to be a gang leader, and all of his guys got killed or sent to prison. He did a long stint in Iron Hook. He came out. He decided to go straight, and that he's a kind of an extortionist and a thug. He's all covered in scars. He has close cropped gray hair and a beard. He kind of looks like Aldo if Aldo had been a pit fighter for the next 20 years. He's just all beat up and scarred, and he's wearing this leather apron. He's all smudged. He looks like he works in the area, which he doesn't, but that's his look. And he basically has switched from extorting business owners and smashing up places for protection money to doing that to street gangs. He kind of does the same thing, but he goes and roughs up a gang and extorts them essentially for protection for the local citizens. So you see, like, people are eyeing you when you talk to him because everyone really respects Cortland. The workers in the area, some guys like haul in a package or raw materials, and they see that you're talking to Cortland, and they're like, "Ooh, wow, these guys." Aldo must be. It's probably just you, Aldo, who talks to him. The rest of you probably kind of like hang back so you don't get spotted. But what we see on screen is sort of this brief interaction, and then Cortland gestures, and you go down this windy little brick alleyway that's all covered in soot, down some stairs and a little rickety wooden scaffold into the back of this workhouse that has this huge metal cargo door and an old train track that's no longer used. It's all rusted, and there's a couple of train cars that have sort of rusted themselves onto the tracks here. So he goes back a few of them further down the line. You can see there's like squatters inside the train cars that have they've cut holes in the roof, and they have cook stoves, like wood burning stoves inside the train cars, and they live inside them. But a little further down, there's
kind of reminds me of like Jimmy Hoffa.
Oh yeah, Cortland. Yeah, he kind of looks like, he totally has like a type.
Well, like, I mean, not even looks, but like he's like a champion of the working man, like that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Like people give him oodles of respect when he walks by and shit.
Totally. Yeah, everyone is kind of eyeing you to see like you must be cool too. Maybe you're a new recruit even, this huge bruiser coming down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, nice good pull, Cortland." Yeah. And the other three of you kind of just filter through. I think you're able to, no one gives you a second look really. Unless Careless really is like being very flamboyant, then people will notice him, but otherwise you can kind of slip by. And yeah, he takes you to this train car and pulls out this huge key ring and takes the key off, unlocks the back of the train car, cranks it open. There's some bunk beds in there. There's a metal chair that's been bolted to the floor, and it has manacles hanging off the back. And there's a wood burning stove in here with some wood piled up and some coal and various odds and ends, some tools lying on the ground, on the floor of the train car. And he shakes your hand and kind of pulls you in tight and is like, "I don't need to know what happens here, but if you're going to be longer than a day, that'll be a bit of a problem. So
right,
keep it short."
I don't imagine we'll be any longer than that. Thanks, Cortland. I appreciate this. I owe you one.
He kind of swats you on the shoulder, hands you the key, and struts away. A little kid runs up to him, and he like picks him up and laughs and spins him around. And you guys are able to slip into place.
I kick the chair to make sure like the bolts stay and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think you you bend it slightly, but it holds.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, like you have to like be right up close to each other to talk here. There's this constant horrible grinding sound and cranking and metal banging on machines, and an actual working train line on the other side of the building that's chugging by every 5 minutes, and whistles going off, and it's just crazy. It's just constant activity.
Good. That'd be perfect.
So yeah, you lie in wait, and when we come back, we will make the initial grab Grace move. Whoever's going to do that. We'll see how that goes when she arrives.
All right.
We'll take our first break here, and we will be back in just a minute.